Hello. All right. And thank you all for being here today. We're with a bunch of wonderful people that you'll learn all about today. And so before we get started, I just want to do a quick little plug to our program. So we have a really amazing program. It's for middle school students. It's called the Seed Creative City Lab. And it's a program where students will be at the Village E. Keene Main Library in the summer. And we're going to be taking these really wonderful trips throughout downtown to an architecture firm, city hall, a design agency. And we're going to be discovering all kinds of creative career paths. And that's kind of the connection that we have with these wonderful people here today. Here's some pictures from our program. So if you know any middle school students, we would love for you to share. We have information, so we would love everybody here to spread the word on this really amazing program. Okay? And that's Seed. So I'm gonna pass it over to Jackie to introduce us.
Thank you. Thanks to everybody for being here. We're so excited for this program. My name's Jackie Viali, and I work with the SEED program at the main library. I'm the curriculum specialist, and I work with the teachers that teach the kids, and we have a really great program. And we're excited today to connect with some Filipino American artists that have joined us. They've been consulting with us, and we've been working on ways to connect with the Filipino community and the other diverse communities to make sure we're serving youth on all of the various communities and the diverse communities of Long Beach, and especially into the Filipino American community right now. And so today we have with us a panel of artists and who are going to join us and tell us about their artistic journey. And we have Dr. Elaine Villanueva Bernal, who's going to be our moderator, and I'm going to let her now introduce everybody and get us started.
Hi folks, Dr. Elaine Villanueva Bernal. I use they, them pronouns. I am Cal State faculty. Cal State faculty. I actually teach chemistry, so somewhat of an artist. Because I teach chemistry. Here to moderate this panel. And I'm one of the Cal State faculty that help coordinate the program, our partnership with the SEED and also Long Beach Public Library. So I'm so happy to be here. Said leader middle schoolers. All right, so we have a lovely panel. So let's do like quick introductions, and then we'll start off with the introduction, long introduction.
Okay, bye. Fernando Argosino. I'm an illustrator, a visual artist, and I'm here to share my experiences and hopefully get folks inspired to follow their own art, build their art muscles.
Hi, my name is Harmony Tangonan, and I am a video producer.
Hi all, I'm Jaslyn, they, she, they pronouns. I'm a cultural worker, a healing arts practitioner, and a dancer.
And again, Dr. Bernal. So let's start off with Fernando, for your overview. What is that you do?
Alrighty, hey, Fernando again. Let's see. So I'm an illustrator. I've actually been at it professionally for how many years? Did you say? I feel 10, but I know it's a little bit more than that. I think in 2012, I used to be a teacher. I dropped it all to be a comic book artist, and then from there, it worked out. And now I'm a part of the Art Directors Guild. Illustrator work on films, TV, commercials, all those kind of things. So yeah, I started off in comics, and I want to share with you that like that transition wasn't easy, but it's like if you got talent, that's cool. It's all about really working it and developing a craft out of it. But I feel like there's still a possibility. Like in our community, we get so scared to let our artistic tendencies grow, right? And then we go into what's safe in so many is like nurses, because I'm related to nurses and accountants. But I think that there's a possibility that we can, I felt there was, and I believed in myself to keep doing it. And but I also treat it like a craft, like it's something that's real. It's like a martial arts skill, It's like a sports skill, You got to keep shooting baskets and all that. You got to keep dry, and eventually you get good enough to get work. So here's just some of the samples of things that I've done. Oh yeah, I worked on Lilo and Stitch. I put that up there. Did stuff, poster art, movie poster art. for like the Fantastic Four, Prince of Bel Air. I did the Deadpool and Wolverine posters, and also just a sample down there of storyboards I did for Fox 911. So just to say, there's a living wage when you get to do, when you get to a certain level with art. And if you have any questions about that, just ask me. But right now, so I get paid to do that work, but I have personal projects. So my background, before I was a teacher, I was a community organizer. And so I cared about the community. I always care about community. I want to teach and give all my skills to the people in the community that want to create art for the community. And so that's my personal project. And so this is one of the graphic novels that I did, self-published. It's about the drug war that was happening in the Philippines, trying to attract folks with cute images, but then stark realities. So that's on Amazon right now. And it's called What Scares a Monster, right? So I did it. It's basically, for those who might know, the mananagang is a Filipino witch or vampire. It's like the scariest monster I always felt in Filipino folklore. And then that creature goes to Manila. What scares a monster? Is she the scariest, or is it the oppression of the state that's scarier? So that's that. And another book that I'm working on right now is about Philip Veracruz, who was a Filipino farm worker with Cesar Chavez. So he was the highest ranking Filipino in the United Farm Workers. And his story's not being told. I had a chance to meet him before he passed away. And it's always been this thing in the back of my mind to do something to commemorate him. So I'm working on that. And with that said, as much as I care about community, I'm always open to hear the community's voices and the kind of things that they would want to see. And maybe I could be a part of helping them or rebuilding it. So thank you. Oh, the vacation? Okay.
Question. So you mentioned several foundations: educator, community organizer, artist, right? Were there perhaps some turning points or defining moments that you could share with the audience as far as what those are?
Okay. Well, so when I was 17, I wanted to get into the comics. And so I brought at the time, this is older folks, this is like the beginnings of Ghibli and Will's Portasio and all those guys. And so I'm not as old as them, but they were now built, getting in there just by going to conventions and showing their artwork. Anyway, I'm 17, I go to con, and the editor of X-Men, he looked at my stuff and he told me I needed about 3 more years, and I was anatomically incorrect, which actually were compliments, but at 17, I wasn't able to do it. The reason I bring that up is that day, I said, forget art, I'm never gonna do it again. There's no future for me. So I went on my way, went to school, went to college, did nothing in art until I was 25. And so for 10 years, I did no art. But then at 25, I just put it as a goal, like, I still had talent, But at 25, I was like, I'm gonna do this, and then boom, I got every little odd job to just keep drawing, and then I developed my skills, and that's sort of one of those things where it's like, there's never a time to stop. Like, there's never like a point where you can't do it anymore, And so I think for me, once I said I was gonna do it, it started me off, and I still, needed to have other jobs, like I was a teacher and other things, but eventually it was just like, I kept going to Comic-Cons while I was a teacher, and the first year I got offered something, I quit. I lost my hair as a teacher. Okay? I was a high school math
Many of us do.
And but as soon as I got that first offer, I quit, and then I had to take all these little side jobs, but driving truck, all that kind of stuff. But eventually, you believe in stuff, and you love it. You have to do it because you love it, and there's a future for it.
Thank you. So, and you also, within your transitions too, like you mentioned several projects. So what's been a recent project that's meant a lot to you?
Well, this one actually means a lot to me. I made a vow, so this is how old I am. in 1995, when Mutterfield passed away, I just made this vow that one day I'm going to do something for him. And so now that I've become an artist, it was in the back of my head, and I published my first book, I was like, I need to publish something for him. Mm-hmm. So that's something that it just, a pet project that, I just keep pushing at. But I also want it perfect too, right? And it's a tough gun, and looking for, I just want to make it right. So that's one thing, what he did for me was inspire me to be something more. Like, why people give up on their dreams because they think it's just for them. And I'm going to say, sorry yourself about, but if you see that your dreams are for everybody else, then you're going to, I jumped higher, I jumped harder, I jumped faster to try to get there. And so because of that, that's why I wanted to do this book.
Wow.
And for his memory.
Now, I love that you mentioned, that often when we have dreams, it's like for ourselves, but what is your dream for everybody else? So tell us more about it. What is your dream for everybody else?
My dream for everybody, I really believe that I was helped build, everything I have is based on my family, my community, my experiences. And I think, honestly, like, these are some tough times right now, politically, socially, and all this, these are gonna be tough. But the community has abilities in itself to support each other. And my dream is to get, like, art is the way to share those messages and to find unity and find how we share these common messages. So these are my art pieces around, and that's I guess the dream. That's what I want, is that as a community we can communicate with each other with art and share the deepest of thoughts and ideas and find unity in it and change the world for the better. So you could call it idealist. I call it just a matter of time. As long as we keep going, it's just a matter of time.
Okay, one last question for now. So, pick one of your art pieces from here. There's 4 here, right? So pick one of them and tell us briefly, what is the message in that art piece?
Okay, well, I'll pick that one because people like that one the most. I did that that was for an art show in 2012 in Seattle. And I just thought to myself, because I go to these Comic Cons, right? And everyone's dressed up in, Star Wars and all this other stuff in fantasy. But if you really look at Star Wars, it's about fighting the Empire, fighting for justice, fighting against this oppression.
Absolutely.
And so all these people are dressed up like Star Wars characters as if they want to be Star Wars characters. But if the Star Wars characters were here today on the streets, they would be on the streets with signs, challenging the system, fighting for their justice, fighting for each other. And so I thought the closest thing to having, cosplay or Star Wars characters in the world today would be showing that. And that's where I think, that's why I think that.
Awesome, thank you. So let's go to our next panelist. Who's the
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
Come in. Great. Hi, everyone. So again, my name is Harmony, and thank you so much for coming out today and enjoying Ohalo with us. And we have a really good turnout. So I'm excited to talk about my experience as a video producer, as well as what inspires me and the stories that I do tell. But before I talk about my current projects, I'll just briefly talk about my 20 plus years of experience in video production. I have produced hyperlocal news segments that have been broadcasted on CNN headline news. I have created video content for nonprofit organizations, cause-minded companies, as well as celebrities that do philanthropic work. I have also taught media production at several schools across Long Beach Unified School District, a couple of universities, including Loyola Marymount and USC, my more memorable teaching moments were I got to teach on an Apache reservation in Arizona, and I also spent 1 month in Riga, Latvia, teaching citizen journalism in 3 high schools over there. So that was really fun. In my most recent role, I was the program manager for PadNet TV, which is a community media center and public access station right here in Long Beach. And but these days, I'm focusing my efforts on using my skills in media production to support the Filipino community. So when I was growing up, that's me in kindergarten on the International Day. And despite the fact that I am representing culture there, I actually did not have a lot of opportunities to celebrate heritage or to be exposed to culture. And so it wasn't until about 6.5 years ago when I moved to Long Beach, which, as you know, has a really strong Filipino community, that I started paying attention to it and had more exposure to culture. And I started feeling this really strong pull to start exploring my identity as a second-generation Filipino American. And about a year ago, I met Jaslyn from Kuo Organizing Project, and I decided to volunteer for the 7th annual Long Beach Parol Lantern Festival. And because of my experience in media production, I gravitated toward the marketing committee and created some videos to help promote the event. And on that day, I also provided video coverage and edited a recap video of that day as that we could use. So show what that day was like. And so ever since then, I realized that I really enjoyed using my skills to support media, to support Filipino communities. So now I'm learning about all the various organizations that are out there, figuring out ways that I can get involved. So if we have some time, I do want to show just a brief clip of that recap video that we did. I'll only show like a minute or two, but this is at the Long Beach Parol Lantern Festival.
As a representative, the senator would like to say thank you so much for being part of Long Beach community and for bringing your culture, your history, and your presence to make sure that you light the way for other people as well. This event is a shining testament to your dedication, hard work, and unwavering commitment to uplifting the vibrant and beautiful Filipino community and culture. On behalf of the 33rd Senate District, I extend my sincere gratitude and heartfelt congratulations on this remarkable celebration. Fun fact, my daughters, Ella and Nova, this is the first time they made a parole lantern. So thank you for that experience for my children.
The Filipino community is the largest Asian population in the city of Long Beach. And so that you are here in Uptown celebrating and bringing this festival here, we're super thrilled. I am born and raised right here in Bixby Knolls. Filipino families were intricate to my life growing up. So the sights and the smells and the food and the culture is so vibrant and brings back really special memories for me. We know that the Filipino community is an underpinning of so many of our industries, including our healthcare industry, and they are doing work in and around our city and our city family. Thank you for the invitation to be in community with you here today.
Kubo has done a magnificent job, really, keeping the Long Beach Parol Lantern Festival alive. And you have definitely brought a holiday joy to the community, Christmas style, Pasko style, and the spirit of Christmas in the hearts. And maraming salamat. Merry Christmas, maligayang Pasko. So everyone, please, a round of applause once again for Kubo LB.
Thank you for always bringing joy and celebrating our community. It's so important that we have this moment. This is a time that we all come together. So that's why I'm always happy to support and be here and celebrate this festival. So on behalf of the City of Artesia, I, Melissa Ramoso, Councilmember and former Mayor for the City of Artesia, hereby recognize Kubo Organizing Project for your outstanding dedication to fostering sustainable community development and cultural enrichment. Thank you for hosting the Long Beach Parole Lantern Festival. We are so proud of all the work that you do to bring us together. So thank you.
Well, while we're figuring that out, I want to give a quick shout out to Padnet TV, who provided us with the free resources to produce this video. So if you are familiar with Padnet TV or not familiar with Padnet TV, they offer video equipment and resources to help with content creation. You might have to, oh, okay, cool, we're back. All right. So earlier this year, I joined the team over at Filipinx and Wellness Podcast. We are in our 5th season, and the content I resonate with deeply because it explores something that I'm super interested in, which is wellness and mental health in the Filipino diaspora. And the most recent episode that we have, which debuted a couple weeks ago, is about mastering healthy boundaries in Filipino families. So it's a really good episode. Definitely check it out. And for me, this was important to get involved with learning mental health because when I started learning more about my identity as a Filipino American, I started learning about our indigenous roots, the history of colonization of the Philippines, and our migration stories. And it was very revealing to me to understand why I am the way I am. And I was having these aha moments, and it was very healing for me to have those aha moments. So yeah. So basically, my media focus now that I've pivoted towards supporting the Filipino community, focusing on stories about cultural enrichment, wellness and mental health, community events, but I also want to focus on stories about social change and historical preservation. I think that's super important right now during these times, as well as reclaiming my identity as a Filipino American. So yeah, it's basically, I'm here. It started as a personal journey to kind of understand more about who I am, but it kind of grew into something much bigger, which is this commitment to connect and to heal and to uplift and empower our community. And I just want to be able to create more spaces where we're seen and where we're heard, and just bring our stories to the forefront more.
Awesome. So thank you. So tell us more about your aha moments. Yes.
Oh, we're gonna get deep, huh?
We got time. Let's go.
We got time deep. Okay. Let's start with this. A quick story about my family. My grandmother was actually when the Philippines was being attacked. They were living on the base, so we basically had to escape the base as it was being attacked. And my auntie was a toddler, my mom was a baby, and even though I've always heard that story, I never really kind of registered it as something that could affect me today. And but as I learned more about things like generational trauma, like my fight or flight response, or anybody's fight or flight response, like the body remembers that and it's just like passed on through generations. And so sometimes if I'm anxious or jumpy or reactive instead of responsive, that's probably because it's part of my programming. But now that I understand that, then I feel really grateful that we're in this time where there are tools and resources to learn how to emotionally regulate, and meditation, inner child healing and things like that. But that was one of my biggest aha moments, was understanding how our history can affect our wellness. today.
Thank you. And to that, then, yeah, I did notice that in a lot of your media work, there's connection to culture and history, right? So I'm curious, how have you used your work to perhaps inform of yourself of these histories that your family has experienced or process? Because, like you said, the body remembers, right? So I'm curious how the medium and the storytelling that you work with help you understand and perhaps reconcile with, and to know more about that history.
Yeah, like sometimes what I'll just do, what I've been actually doing, because historical preservation is like really big for me right now, especially because my parents are like elderly, they're in their 80s, and if I'm trying to capture those stories, so now I'm trying to like have more conversations with my parents and just document it.
Yeah.
Just like get them in front of a camera and like ask those stories, and which is sometimes it's just as simple as that. But also I know that those stories can be heavy and emotionally draining. So I'll like one day I just like got my dad in front of the camera, and so when I was little I learned how to play piano, and I learned my first song was Bahay Kubo. So I printed out the lyrics and I gave it to my dad, and I asked him to sing it, and then I asked him to translate it line by line with me, and I just did that in front of the camera, and it was like it was a really great thing to document, but it was also like I feel like it really opened up some connection with like my dad on a level that I've never connected with him before, because sometimes we forget that our parents are people, and we forget know them on a personal level, but I feel like that really helped us kind of like tighten our bond a little bit more.
Yeah. So thank you for that. Speaking just to bring it to your point, again, the body remembers things and it helps to process these things. So I think that might be a good segment to our next panelist. Jaslyn, you can introduce yourself.
I was like, oh yeah.
I didn't know. I was like, wait, I'm not going to listen. I'm like, oh my goodness. I just gotta say, I'm like deeply humbled. I'm sitting here. I forget that I'm like also speaking today because I'm just kind of fangirling over everyone because this work is so important, and just very grateful for the library to have us share our stories. I think it's now more than ever we need to exchange, whether that's energy or storytelling. So going a little into my experiences at work, and then I would be honored to share how that's cultivated through movement. I'm Jaslyn. I use she, they pronouns. I'm a cultural worker, creative, and healing arts practitioner. If you have any questions of what that means, I'm happy to connect. I started dancing hip hop and street styles in 2008. In short, my dad was like, it seems like you have things you want to say, take a crump class. And that led me to so much, and where I am today, because why not? And I'm realizing I'm going to sit in my power a little bit. This should say 2014. Even though I graduated in 2018, I want to embrace that I started my learning journey through college. Embracing that PCN is cultural education, connection, and identity building. So I had the privilege of going to University of San Francisco. So shout out to y'all if you've been in PCN. If you have not been in PCN and want to experience something adjacent, let's hang out. So really, like, my roots started from here, and there was an awakening that happened for me because we got lucky to have mentors and community partners that practiced Indigenous dance and learn, and that made me want to learn more. And with that, I got to ask questions from my families, and that storytelling, kind of like what we all have been saying, like, how do we preserve and share? And so I got connected to these amazing groups throughout college and after college. So at the top right here, this is American Center of Philippine Arts. They are now called AGOS because they're the youth program for Cool Arts, which focuses on contemporary Filipino arts. And then kind of like to round out where my learning comes from, Barangal Dance Company, that focuses on the living traditions. And we call them living traditions because tradition and culture is always changing, so I'm very blessed for my roots to start as a student and continue as a student, as a youth educator, as a Filipino arts, contemporary arts practitioner, and then also living traditions learner. These are amazing groups that are still active today, and I still actively go and visit. So my affinity for the San Francisco Bay Area is deep, and that's why I'm very passionate about why I moved back home to Los Angeles, because I was born and raised here, and creating that bridge. And so this has led to me creating my LLC called Panay Pages. It honestly started off as a pen name, and then as more people got interested, we started building community and storytelling. I was like, I got to turn this into something bigger, and I'm very grateful. So I dedicate Panay Pages to a space of creativity, wellness, and storytelling. This is an example of a wellness workshop we did with bouquet making. I recently taught Frank C. Leo Elementary in Cerritos. And then I also work with our elders at Vashti in Hi-Fi, in historic Filipino town, and in Carson. So really trying to do my best to extend my love for our people through dance and healing arts, because I've also been able to travel now back to the Philippines and meet the cultural barriers everywhere from, and that's like the deepest part of humbling I could ever say. We message each other on Messenger, which is great. Yeah, one of them was like, "How are you?" I was like, oh, "I'm great." And so yeah, like some people are always asked, "How do you do it all?" And I'm like, when it's work that you love, you never get tired. That's at least for me. And so in addition to Panay Pages, very grateful that we now have a space to dance at Long Beach at Way Studio Space, right next to Long Beach City College. I was telling someone, that wasn't on my bingo card this year, but when blessings come, you gotta take them, right? That's right. And then also continuing my work in Long Beach with Kubel Organizing Project, which how I met all these amazing people here. Recently got promoted to project director, so now being able to put on more cultural enrichment programs, as well as health equity work is a deep part of my work, and I'm beyond blessed. And I hope that y'all can join us on this Saturday. This is great. We're talking about ancestral work. If you're interested in zine making, as well as getting an experience of my work through healing arts and movement, we'll be down the street at Able Arts Work from 11 to 2. And then there's an upcoming exhibition to show a physical zine, which Harmony has shared a story of their ancestor coming up. And then there's currently work living and growing. And so, yeah, I feel I'm doing my best not only to serve our community, but just share the love of my ancestors, because in short, I really pushed Panay Pages forward after my Nana passed. And I hear her voice constantly. It was during a ritual. I heard her. She said, "I got you." And she goes, "You have to do Panay Pages." So I do this in honor of her, our ancestors, and everyone in this space. So, yeah. Thank you.
So, living tradition. I love that you mentioned that. That tradition often changes, right? And then so I'm curious, in your time, in your work, what changes have you witnessed, and where do you see, the future as far as living tradition?
Oh my gosh, you just pinged a memory that I saw. So I was lucky 2 years ago, I got to go to the southern Philippines. There's an island called Tabawan in Satangkay, and Satangkay is like the southernmost island you can visit, and I'm so grateful I got to go. And there's an experience where students were putting on like a talent show, and students were doing traditional dance to modern music. And when asked, because sometimes, folks here, we've seen tinikling done to modern music. Sometimes it's like a hit or miss if people do or don't like it. But from our cultural barriers, they told us after that experience, that's tradition too, because if that's how our generation is going to understand and interpret it, we have to embrace that, we have to welcome that. And the cultural bearer, Ate Nercida also said, they also have to know the foundation. So that's the biggest part from what I've understood with living traditions is, know your basics and then you can explore and create. So yeah, I think that's what I've learned is we can say things are quote unquote traditional, and we have to understand that's changed at the time because art reflects reality in that moment in time. Yeah.
And then how do you see, like, in the future, right, living traditions evolving, perhaps?
That part, I would say, at least for me, is where I'm doing a lot more listening. I think when I go and visit or even learn from my mentors, just taking a step back and not just jumping into it, because we have to understand it's a privilege for me to teach here. It's a privilege for me to go and come back. And that's not the case because for them, some generations don't want to learn the traditions, or some of our elders don't have the resources to continue the work.
Yeah.
So I think we're in a great place of being able to learn from our indigenous people and listen to what they want to share and say, because the future is in their hands. I can only do so much because I was born and raised here in the States. And so thinking of that future is, especially for, we can do our research here as much as we can.
Yeah.
And we can do YouTube and all that, which is great. And we can take it beyond that and reach out to actual practitioners that are learning. So I think that's kind of my invitation for folks is know that there's more than YouTube or things you see on social media. There's people we can talk to.
Yeah. And I like that you mentioned that it's not just, watch YouTube or watch TikTok or whatever, right? And having conversations with our elders, with our mentors. So I'm curious, what would you suggest to the audience today as far as what questions can I ask? How can I engage in a dialogue?
I kicked my feet because I got excited. It was Stacey. I love talking about this. So I recently saw one of my mentors from Cool Arts. Manay Alleluia. Also, shout out, I want to name folks. Kui Eric leads Barangol, and then Ate Erna leads Agos. And so Cool Arts from Manay, she told us during a workshop, if you want to do this work, it has to start from within. You have to do that deep reflection of who am I, what am I hoping for, and if you don't know those answers, that's okay. You just have to start within, because that self-reflection is the biggest part. Your intuition you're going to be your biggest guide. That's at least what I gather from it. Your intuition is your biggest guide. So I think that's what I say. Sorry, I don't know if I answered the question.
Now I'm curious about, tell us more about Pinay Cages. How did it start as perhaps a concept, right? And then, tell us about that process of how it came into fruition. What were the kinds of conversations that you had? How did you perhaps pull community together, right?
Yeah, thank you. I know I do so well at hyping up the orgs I do, that talking about myself,
Tell me about you.
But I mean, so I think with this work, I mentioned it started off as a pen name where I was a senior in college, and I was when I would do more poetry, I would sign off as Panay Pages. And then I started that Instagram, and then would just put my poetry and sign off. And then I think because the Panay community we were searching for each other, I was oh my God, people are following me. And they would be hey, you're Panay, I'm Panay. I was oh my God, hi, okay. And I think the community grew because their words resonated with them. And then I would open up weekly prompts for Filipinx folks just to respond, and they would post on their stories. So I think I transformed it into people being able to share their voice too, and not just mine. And I'm really lucky that that continues to resonate with people. So I think for me, I've grown my services not only storytelling, but also movement and healing art. So it's just been kind of really a look of chance and I guess hard work, because I take those conversations further when people message me, and I'm always oh, how are you today? Making those deeper connections, because I just love talking to people too. So.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. No, it's easy. So I do have one more question for the panel, and then we can do Q&A with the audience. So For those folks hoping to follow a more creative, perhaps non-traditional path of like what our parents told us, right? Go, like my family was go be a nurse or go be a doctor, right? What's one piece of advice that you would offer to folks today, especially our youth, like as far as following what they want to do? What's the story?
It's like, again, we'll pass it down. Ask questions and stay curious. I think we don't have to stay within this bubble of thinking, limiting ourselves. Like, don't be afraid to ask for support or for answers, because they will happily give it to you. And I'm speaking as a Philippine dance and cultural practitioner, so in that approach. With the arts, know that there's mentors. Find your mentor. Ayun, there, that one. Find your mentor, find your people. Thanks.
Gosh, I think that what I would say is pay attention to what energizes you and what dreams you, but also don't be afraid to dream big. Because and as I'm saying that, I'm reminding myself of that too. I remember to dream big.
I picture this situation where parents will tell their kids, like when it comes to art, stop messing around with that and get your grades good and all that. And my advice would be to, go ahead and get your grades well, get those going. But explore what your intuition tells you is what you are, which is, if it's draw, dance, or whatever, explore, keep doing it, keep up your grades, right? But keep doing it, and until you find a love, because the love in this craft of whatever you do is what is gonna ascend you into success. So find it. It's like a person. I found love, whatever, and then it's also find love in the art and the talent that you have, and then you won't be able to keep it in, and it'll just explode, and that's where you find success. Your parents, then you tell your parents, replace success with money. That's when I find money. That's what people will pay you. But reality is just like, then you won't even expect the money. It's because you're just doing what you love, and then people start paying you. So that's a practical thing. Like, my parents would be like, just get paid. Go to college and get paid.
Awesome. I'd like to. Does anyone in the audience have a question? And then Game, can you move the mic from? Get the mic. Mic guys.
Oh, see, we got Hannah already.
Thank you for sharing your expertise for doing good in the community. I'm just curious, when you're doing your work, and this could be for the whole panel, do you tend to think of other Filipinos or Filipinas that you can partner with? And if the answer is yes, is there a particular site or directory that you go to find our people that you can make connections with when you're working on your projects?
That's a good idea. Let's start signing. That's a great idea.
So, for me, like, if I'm being completely honest, when I moved to Long Beach, Kubo was like right there. And so I feel like a lot of learning about the community was through Kubo, because Kubo led me to the Filipino Migrant Center, and the Filipino Migrant Center led me to all these groups like Puso and Anak Bayan and Gabriela, and then I realized that through Kubo, because I take Filipino martial arts, I started this person knows Philam Arts, which creates FPAC in San Pedro, and Kubo is hosting the chapter meeting for Filipino on the Rise, and then also just like paying attention to the events that are happening and putting myself in those spaces. Like earlier this year, because I didn't know that there was this whole organization where Filipino therapists go into a conference. And so I'm like, sure, I'll fly up to Sacramento to attend that conference. And that's how I met Fern, right? And so I guess just like social media, like I just started following all those accounts and paying attention to the events that are happening and just like showing up at the events and meeting all the people and just having like really authentic, genuine conversations with everybody and the Sammy, hi, I make videos, what do you do? Anyone else? Yep.
From the artist perspective, so I did think about creating a meetup, but in Long Beach, there are meetups for artists to get together. For younger folks, if it's comic books, it's the comic book stores. I mean, there are places, but I think it's also, it also challenges me. I got to put out the word that I'm out and ready to help other folks too, So I think it's real simple. Law of attraction, that's my personal opinion, which is you go towards the things that you feel they would be interesting to you or they're interesting to you, and you just go and you're going to connect with people if you have an open mind. We met at a, what is it again?
Yeah, it's called DOFA,
Yeah.
Division of Filipino Association.
Anyway, Filipino psychology, right? Filipino psychology.
Sacramento, and then we discovered we're both in Long Beach.
Yeah, and I'm an artist, right? Why am I at this psychology thing, right? But I was just presenting a painting that I did, and then just met all these folks, and now it's like, it turns full circle. So just your instincts are law of attraction, right? Like you want to go to this event, or you want to meet people at this place. Just go. Yeah.
And I found that networking is much easier. Present yourself authentically too. Like, hey, we have.
Thank you for sharing the mic. I know when I moved back from the Bay Area, it was during COVID, so I couldn't physically go and meet people, so I did a lot of self-research on the internet. I think I just Googled Filipino organizations in Los Angeles, and then the list came up, and I spent a lot of time looking at people's websites and social media, and I was all, okay, I vibe with you, and because I couldn't meet in person, I would just Instagram message and start conversations there. And then when we could meet in person, I would go to their events and then Chica and talk with them. So yeah, I'd say we're in a great space where internet is pretty good at archiving and having, just people reach out
Back to you. I guess I'll add something. So the way I got connected to the Filipino network here in Long Beach was first I moved to Long Beach and started working in Long Beach. And in 2014, I became a Human Relations Commissioner. So my job was to basically help relate all the humans here in Long Beach. So that was a good way of networking. Got connected to all the groups. So that's how I got connected to Filipino Migrant Center, a lot of the different grassroots orgs here in Long Beach. And also the public library. You are here in the public library. Yes, I know, shameless plug, right? And as a child and as an adult, the library has always been an amazing resource of like everything and anything I can get my hands on, and learn about myself and my, my culture. Everything. Let's go on. Yeah. Hopefully that answers our question. Maybe one or two more questions?
Also, I can make events that you help this weekend. Hit block. Tell your
Yes, tell us your events.
Anybody's events that are coming up.
Oh, I have so I'm going to do a live painting at the Carson, the Philippine Independence Day. I think it's June 7th, so that's in 2 weeks.
Yes, 2 weeks. Yeah, in 2 weeks.
So I'm going to do paintings. I'm going to just let the community tell me what to paint, or I'll just come up with stuff. It's going to be like a big thing. So if you can come out, Veterans Park in Carson.
I know.
Yeah.
Is there flyers or something?
I don't have any flyers, but if you look up Carson Philippine Independence Celebration at Veterans Park, June 7. Yeah. Thanks for asking.
Let's see. I'm currently editing the next episode of Philippine Next and Wellness. And we're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube. It's going to debut on what's the second Wednesday of June? I want to say June 11th. I know it's a Wednesday because Wellness Wednesday, and it's about this one is about the episode's called Radical Visibility, and it's about a Filipinx that is creating clothing for LGBTQ disabled folk. So making yourself radically visible. And it's really good. It's because you never think about clothing as wellness, but it's like for somebody with a disability, maybe they like the way that clothing like pulls on you, that takes some like brain space and energy and stuff. So it's a really interesting episode. I just got the episode like finished like yesterday. So yeah, that will be debuting June 11th, if that's a Wednesday. I guess I'll look at the calendar, but Wellness Wednesday.
And then I'll reshare it later. You're welcome to take a picture of this flyer. Sorry, I know it's a little bit brighter. That has the information there if you're available Saturday, and then it's next Friday already, the exhibition. I'm ready. I am so ready. Always ready, always prepared. Pressure makes diamonds.
I have no events, but I would like to promote next year's PCM at Cal State Long Beach. I am their faculty advisor, so please come. Yeah, PCM, there you go.
And the library also has an event.
All right, folks, good afternoon. Can we give another round of applause for our wonderful artists here, please? Thank you. All right. Well, my name is Laban. I'm the senior librarian here at the Bret Harte Library, and I'm very excited to invite you all to the grand opening of the first ever Filipino-American Cultural Heritage Collection. So that's going to be this Saturday's, May 31st at 10:30. The program's going to be about 2 hours. We're going to have a ribbon cutting. We're going to have authors coming to chat and speak about their books. We're going to have Filipino family story time, so if you have any littles or his nephews, cousins, please come over and bring them. We're going to have like refreshments, so if food entices you, please visit us for that. I'm sorry. Yes, so it's going to be this Saturday, May 31st. I'm going to be there, and all these wonderful artists and authors. And just, coming together as a community is so important. As we all mentioned, third spaces in the community are necessary, now more than ever. And so why not join, your local library in the grand opening of the collection? Thank you.
Now, to finish tonight's event, Jaslyn was going to lead us in a movement exercise.
And so before I share, I'm happy to, I put together a piece, both to share kind of the work I've been developing as well as a moment for wellness. So at some point in the dance, there'll be a mantra that says, breathe it in, breathe it out to help with our own grounding. And then after, we'll try some very simple Philippine dance basic movements. And so I hope y'all enjoy. This is an excerpt from the work that'll be shared on Saturday. And yeah, I'm going to prepare my things as Gabe helps me. Thank you so much.
moment to breathe. Your eyes open, or you can close. You can find a spot in the room as you just take gentle breaths and ground yourself. Just for folks that need a moment to breathe as well as create. There'll be a sound bath for Saturday too, so if you want a fuller healing arts experience, still Zoom making. And in the meantime, I would love to teach you simple Philippine dance movements before we go. So think of it as like a follow along. I'm probably going to use the terms I use for my kids, my students, not my kids. And so the first one, the students called it flipping a pancake. So we'll teach you that. The next one was a giveaway because these movements are inspired from Pandango sa Ilaw. And so this is the second one. And the third one, which might feel a little bit like this, is what we call sway balance. So we're gonna open and close and open and close. So we're just gonna play with those, try them out, and we'll do that with music if that sounds okay. You're welcome to do this sitting or standing, completely up to you, and I'll be here to stand and guide you throughout the day. So I'll start with our pancakes, or what we call waves. So we can go to the right first. I'm gonna do the opposite, so side first. You can go side to side with your arms. So what it'll look like is you can go left, side. We're just stepping side and step. Very nice. One more time like that. Just feel it out. Maybe smile to the person next to you as you dance. Make that connection. Yeah. If you're feeling extra ambitious, you can move around the room too. One more time. We're gonna go side, very nice. And side. And we're gonna try the next movement. We're gonna give away like giving away candles. We're just going one side, one center, and reach. And one more time, open, and try the other side, and reach. And then give yourselves a round of That was Pandanga sa Ilaw, or Dancing in the Lights, and I hope we can continue to dance and share stories together. Thanks, everyone. That was so neat.
So we're gonna have a Karakol workshop next time.
I know, I really got pulled.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for being here today. I want to thank everybody. That was amazing, wonderful. I don't know if you're right.
I want to thank our artists and panelists. You all were really wonderful. Harmony Tinbonen, Jaslyn Pastor, Dr. Elaine Villanueva Bernam, Farron Argosino, Gabriel Gaite, the coordinator of the SEED project, senior librarian of the beautiful Hart Neighborhood Library, Courtney Naban, here to success. Thank you. And Ruby is our outreach, Ruby Mr. Howard. And we are so grateful that you could join us today. This is really wonderful. Thank you to everybody for coming.